Well, you know, like I said, the fat man's still trying to get used to this, using the cell phone to do these video logs and responses and stuff, both for this new video response log channel thing that we've got going as an offshoot of the brigade, and for doing my whatever gaming revisitation supplement things I'm going to do from here on out. Some of it'll be on the laptop, some of it'll be because of time and privacy issues and just getting, you know, having moments to kill between jobs sometimes. Anyway, one of the first things I keep noticing on my cell phone is, depending on how I place it, you're looking up my nostrils, which is, you know, kind of, I wouldn't want to look up my nostrils, just saying. The other part of it is that when I switch over to video, it automatically starts recording. It doesn't stop and need a button like on my laptop where you have to click the button. Anyway, so my latest installment for the Middle-earth role-playing game system, MERP, put out by FASA, is called Mirkwood, right there, yeah. Mirkwood, the Wilds of Rhovanion, however you want to pronounce it. Basically what this is a combined source book. They took, originally they put out Northern Mirkwood and Southern Mirkwood. I've already done a revisitation on Northern Mirkwood, and I will be doing one on Southern Mirkwood shortly. It's in my pile of stuff I brought back from my storage locker to go through. This particular installment was created in 1988 and is, for all intents and purposes, is not a new book. It's just a repackage of the original two source books into one supplement with a nice new cover. They did do was take the material from the two books and overlay them in a form that doesn't make sense. So it's not like the first half is this and the second half's that. So, you know, as comprehensive, if you everything you ever needed to know about Mirkwood in general and the land surrounding everything between the eastern Misty Mountains and the Great Plains of whatever past, or the Great Plains of Rune, however they pronounce it, is in here. And you can probably get years worth of play just out of this one book, if you really want to look at it from that perspective. Now, I'm not saying that you know, all the others don't have value, but this particular one is a load of places, a lot of material that covers wide-ranging areas. That includes Irbor, i.e. the Lonely Mountain, Lake Town, Dale, Beorn and the the Bear Changers and their neck of the woods, the Holy Carrock, which is the rock in the middle of the river that in the books the Great Eagles took Bilbo and the Dwarves to, as opposed to setting them down on top of an overlook on the side of the mountain somewhere. It also includes Dol Guldur, which, you know, with Peter Jackson's version of the movies, the extended movies, he gone to a lot of effort to bring into all areas that were vaguely touched on in the novels. So the books, the source books, surprisingly, and I say this over a number of different modules, when I compare the 1980s game system from ICE, Iron Crown Enterprises, I guess I said fast earlier, but that's obviously wrong, and the Peter Jackson take on both the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, I'm impressed, slightly suspicious, that so much of the work in the movies parallel what I see in the game supplement material. And obviously, for obvious reasons, it's Tolkien's works are fairly well detailed, so you know they couldn't go too far off the beaten path when it came to certain key locations in the novels. But all those peripheral locations and stuff that we talk about, they barely touch on, or you see on the maps in the novels, they did a great job of making them quite Tolkienish. Plus, like I said, when you look at them and you look at their backstories and the history, and a lot of it, I think, parallels these books for a reason. The creators and the writers and maybe even Peter Jackson himself, although I've never heard him say that, probably have had experience with these at some point in their lifetime. I also have a non-Iron Crown Enterprises supplement book that actually has not a game book at all, but it's called the Middle Earth Atlas, or Atlas for Middle Earth or something. I will be doing a review on that, or because it's not really a revisitation. I don't remember where I picked it up, but I did pick it up way back in the 80s during the time I was buying all this stuff, and I thought it made a very good addition to the game material. I see that while it's not totally common, I've seen similar things to it. There's a series of Star Wars books, and they're not game related per se. They're very specific in there. Nowhere in the books do they say that they're game related, and yet they would be an awesome tool for use in any Star Wars campaign book for the GM and for the players. I only own the Galaxy Galaxy Atlas or something to that effect. It books like this thick, and new these things run upwards of $100. I lucked into this particular one for like $20 from a discount book company. I know it. I'll have to dig around and find the name of it, because they have a lot of good stuff, and you can get, for example, they have the entire Fire and Ice collection as a package deal. I think it was like $40 or $45, and I don't know. I suspect that what this company does is they buy up when companies mass produce stuff. There's always a run where they'll have a book that's not cut right, or one of the pages are not sticking right. And in the big companies, instead of going through individually book by book like you would do in these smaller game companies, they just chuck a whole pallet and they mark it off as damaged or something, and a misprint, what have you. But instead of just selling it as scrap, a lot of these outfits are now selling to these discount book places, so you're getting either somewhat shoddy goods or secondhand goods. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with them, other than one or two little quirks. The rest of it's awesome, and you pay a quarter of the price, half the price of a new one. I'm not advertising for that, but that's what it is. Like I said, this is actually a good supplement. It consolidated the two novels, or the two core books. Ironically, I don't think the price came down all that much, so I think at the time I could have bought pretty much this book. The other two books together cost about what this one cost, which makes sense, I guess. This one here included two giant 16 by 21 inch full color maps detailing the Mirkwood region. Basically, it says specific, these are the same maps appeared previously in northern Mirkwood and southern Mirkwood. Full color maps of Dol Guldur, Woodman Town, and Bahura Agira. Major black and white layouts of Dale, Esgroff, etc., 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 etc. Most of this material in this product was previously published under the titles blah blah. So, like I said, there's not a lot of brand new material in there, and if it is, it's very minor. I've read through it a couple times and flipped through it, and I don't see anything that distinctly leaps out at me as brand new stuff. Okay, it is what it is. But hey, it's a good addition to any GM's bookcase. It gives you a lot of good information, especially on a very, very large forest. So in that aspect, as I said, I might have been more appropriate if I'd used the Lazy GM as a moniker instead of the Fat Man. But in the true sense of the word, having a library of this stuff gives me so much flexibility, especially when I need to fire from the hip. If I got a scenario that goes off board from my planned campaign and my notebooks are not ready to cover it sometimes, or I just don't have the time that I used to have as a kid to focus 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day on creating, is being able to go and pillage something from my bookshelf and reuse it, reuse it, revisit it, is a good thing, in my opinion. Nobody's ever told me in any of the comment sections that they thought it was a bad thing or a disagreement with me. Of course, I don't get a whole lot of comments anyway, but hey, no comments is as good as bad comments, I guess. Not good, okay, whatever. The wilds of Rhovanion. The Rhovanion. Blah! Mirkwood! Buy it, love it, get it, hate it, throw it out the window, turn it into firewood, do what some other people do, cut it up for collage material. On to the next show.